Uh-huh. Click the link and dive right in. AI bites in every spin.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going deep. I mean deep into a topic that's, well, let's just say it pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible, you know?
It's definitely a mind bender.
We're diving into Tapping the Zero-Point Energy, a book by Moray B.
Right. A book that's been generating a lot of buzz, to say the least.
Yeah, buzz is a good word. See, this book throws around terms like free energy and even hints at things like anti-gravity. Pretty wild stuff, right? But here's the thing. It's not presented as pure science fiction. King tries to ground these almost unbelievable ideas in actual physics.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's like he's trying to build a bridge between these far-out concepts and the world of established science.
A bridge, more like trying to leap across a canyon, you know? But seriously, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics, right? Zero-point energy. It kind of sounds like something out of Star Trek, doesn't it?
Well, in a way, it kind of is. Think of it like this. Imagine the emptiest space possible, a perfect vacuum. Now, zoom in way, way down to the tiniest level. According to quantum physics, even in that emptiness, there's still a sea of energy constantly fluctuating.
Whoa, hold on. So even in nothing, there's something. That's hard to wrap my head around.
It's a weird concept, right? But that's quantum physics for you. And this energy, this constant fluctuation, it's what we call zero-point energy.
Okay, I kind of get it. It's like this invisible energy field everywhere all the time. But the big question is, if it's really there, how do we tap into it? How do we use it?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's what King dives into. He talks about something called system self-organization.
System self-organization. Boy, that sounds complicated.
It's a mouthful, I know. Think of it like this. Imagine a symphony orchestra. If all the musicians just played whatever they wanted, it would be chaos, right? But with a conductor, they organize that energy, that sound, into something harmonious and powerful.
Ah, so instead of random energy going everywhere, we need to find a way to orchestrate it, give it direction.
Exactly. That's the basic idea behind harnessing zero-point energy. We need to find a way to, like you said, orchestrate it, make it work for us.
And is that even possible? I mean, it all sounds pretty theoretical.
That's the big question, isn't it? King, in his book, seems to think so. He points to certain, let's call them, anomalous experiments.
Anomalies? Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, he talks about certain experiments that suggest it might be possible to, and this is where it gets really wild, manipulate gravity.
Wait, are we talking about anti-gravity? Like flying cars, defying gravity kind of thing?
Well, hold on. We're not talking about flying DeLoreans just yet, but he definitely explores the idea that by tapping into zero-point energy, we might be able to influence gravitational fields.
Okay, that's a lot of process.
Mhm.
But, I mean, if we could actually influence gravity, that would be huge.
No doubt. And he doesn't start there. He also re-examines some infamous experiments in physics. Like, remember the Pons-Fleischmann experiment?
Vaguely, yeah. It has something to do with cold fusion, right?
Exactly. Back in the late 80s, these two scientists claimed they'd achieved cold fusion. It caused a huge stir, but the scientific community largely dismissed it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Well, King suggests an alternative explanation. What if the heat they observed wasn't from fusion at all, but from accidentally tapping into zero-point energy?
Whoa, so we're talking about, like, rewriting physics as we know it. That's a bold claim.
It's definitely thought-provoking. And it gets even wilder. King goes on to talk about these things called 5-kilowatt machines.
5-kilowatt machines, what are those?
These are machines that some inventors claim can generate more energy than they consume.
Hold up, you're saying they produce free energy?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And King seems to suggest that these machines, if they work as claimed, could be tapping into, you guessed it, zero-point energy.
I gotta say, it's hard not to be a little skeptical. I mean, this is starting to sound like, well, a little too good to be true, don't you think?
I get it. Believe me, I'm right there with you. The claims are big, really big. But here's something important to note. King backs up his ideas with tons of citations from real physics journals.
So he's not pulling this stuff completely out of thin air.
No, not at all. He's drawing on established scientific principles, on real research that's already out there. He's just, let's say, connecting the dots in a very unique way.
So where does that leave us? We've covered everything from the nature of the universe to mind-blowing technology. What's the takeaway message from all of this?
Well, I think the main thing is that tapping the zero-point energy is more about opening up possibilities than offering definitive answers. It's a call for us to think differently about energy, about the universe itself, and maybe even re-examine what we think we know.
I like that. It's about asking big questions, pushing the boundaries of our understanding. But let's be real. The potential implications of zero-point energy, if it's real, are enormous. I mean, imagine a world with unlimited clean energy.
Right. It's a future that's both exciting and a little daunting to think about.
It definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we could tap into this energy, what would we do with it? What would you do with it? It's a question worth pondering.
Click the link and dive right in. AI bites in every space.